Okay, so the title of our project is Superb Static Saver, and my name is Jacob Yee.
I'm Seth, and this is just a presentation for our senior project. So for engineering, we have to create an invention that solves one of like a worldwide problem. So in our case, we chose energy. Here's a little bit about it.
So a little topic background, in every household across America, about 66% of electricity is wasted every day. The leading source of electricity exhaustion is caused by leaving cords plugged into outlets that are not being used every day.
So basically our goal is to minimize that because it's a waste of our planet resources and money, so we can lower the electric bills while saving the planet itself. So just so you guys understand, when you guys leave your chargers in, but it's not actually charging your phone, it's still wasting energy right there. So that's one of the leading causes of why so much energy is wasted.
And some past solutions are power strips, so like the extension cords that you can like turn on and off. And that is a past solution, but the only thing is you don't walk around your house every day turning them off when you leave, so it's kind of like a waste. And also electricity monitors, which those are actually really helpful, but those actually cost a lot more money because you're having to constantly have electricians come in and monitor it and get you the data reports and everything. But our solution will be automated and most optimal.
Oh yeah, and then this is just a little bit of kind of our general design idea. Right now we just finished our prototype. It's just a simple construction of what it would look like and what it'd do. But like it's not actual, we haven't inputted the actual mechanics, so this is just a general one. We'll be able to detail it once we actually start to create the invention. So this is just an article that we used to kind of prove that it is a worldwide problem, because that's the whole point that we're going for, is just something that is a global conflict. So this is the source of the article, and just to summarize it, it just basically mentions what we've been saying, how leaving your stuff plugged in. So it can even range from phone chargers even to one of the appliances that waste the most energy, which is a washer and dryer. So it's not just a simple thing as a phone charger. It can vary to many different things that just stay plugged in and you're not actually using them.
So our solution, we kind of wanted, also our solution to save 60% of energy that is lost is actually an attachment to the outlet. So what we'll be doing is actually removing the outlet itself and attaching a circuit board in the back of it. I don't know if you guys know what outlets look like. So there's actually a big box where the wires run through and then connects to the outlet itself. The outlet is actually just a conductor for the electricity. It doesn't really do anything. So what we want to do is have the box, the wires that feed into the circuit board with the program itself, and then that program will actually feed into the outlet. So what we plan on doing is having the circuit read the electricity that is flowing through it, and if there, say, is not enough current that is flowing through, or like the outlet is not using enough energy, it'll actually shut down the outlet, and the energy will just pass through it until you like require enough energy to be used through the outlet that will turn it back on. So it's just kind of a solution that, like, say like this outlet, since it's not being used, it would just shut it down and reroute the energy somewhere else to where it needs to be used, causing it to be more efficient.
And some objections that we've had, they've asked, like, so what if something needs to stay on? So for example, in a refrigerator, you don't want it to power off when it's not being used because you always need. So that's why we wanted to make it an attachment, because it's your choice whether you want it there or not. And another would be like, if you're shutting down the power, would it need to like revamp? Would it take a longer time to revamp? So we plan to have like a little it'll hold a little bit of energy while it shuts it down. So as soon as something is plugged in again, then it'll just use the reserve that it has from like powering down to power back up. So it can be used instantly, and it'll work just like a normal outlet, but just saving you money.
So on our design process, we have to come up with other possible solutions. So the first possible solution that we came up with was door sensors. And this one, like, I was really like, I told Seth that I wanted to do this one, but we actually found some flaws. So ours was that this design was actually going to coincide with your security system. So I don't know if how many of you guys have security systems at your houses, but you know when you have it like on a lock, and then you walk in and there's sensors that like senses your motions and it'll set off an alarm. So it's kind of similar to that. So say like when you go and you unlock your door and it like turns off the security system, with the sensors itself, when it senses movement in your house, it'll actually turn the electricity back on. I mean, I thought this was a really great idea. The only flaw that was, say if you leave your dogs inside, it'll be constantly moving and it'll be setting off the sensors. Or say that you're coming in and out your house constantly, your electricity just be going up and down, and it's basically doing nothing. And then our second solution was a master switch that would be outside your household. And this is basically, you would just walk outside, you'd switch it off, and it would shut down all your electricity. But we wanted to do it so where like, it was just, you could just leave your house without having to, oh man, I forgot to do the switch, oh man, I have to go outside and turn it back on. We wanted something that's just beneficial and really requires no effort.
So our parameters, we wanted to make sure that we kind of set some boundaries for ourselves. We didn't want it to make it too expensive, or basically our goal was to make it an investment that would work instantaneously, because we didn't want you to buy it and like in the future, oh well, maybe in like 2 years it'll eventually save you enough as much as how much you bought it for or something. So we wanted to make it as cost efficient as possible, so that as soon as you buy it, you're saving it money, and you don't have to worry about having to have it for a certain amount of time before it actually starts working. So we also thought of, like I said, not all plugs just use that simple face that you see around most plugs. Like I was saying, how the washer and dryer, those waste a lot of energy, but it's kind of a different plug and it's more of like a heavy duty one. So we kind of just adapted to depending on what the outlet would be like, so we could use it across multiple platforms.
So going back to what Seth was saying, like how we wanted to make it an immediate like change was, so for example, when you buy solar panels in your household, it's a big investment that eventually in 3 or 4 years it'll pay off, it'll be saving you energy. But those like first 3 or 4 years, you're actually going to be losing some money because it's just a hassle and an investment. Our invention will just be an instant change that you like. We'd like to see within like the next day or the next week or the next month. So yeah. So this is actually the design. It doesn't look like much, but like I was saying, so this is the box that the outlet goes itself. So you can see here. This is the actual outlet itself, and behind this outlet, I should have taken a better screenshot, but I didn't. It's actually the circuit itself, and then this is just the face cover. So this is kind of like the design that we created on our inventor. And
That's pretty much it. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got some comments I'd like to make. I like the idea that the first adapter you guys talked about, it would be kind of like the auto control, right?
Mm-hmm.
When like your air conditioner reaches a certain temperature, it goes off, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of works like that. So you might want to use that as an analogy. It's like an auto, the auto control on your air conditioner, to kind of explain that, and I think it'll make more sense. And also, just so just to critique you guys, I thought you guys really, on a positive note, you guys presented real well, real confident. You knew your stuff. You didn't even have to look at the slides to know what you were going to talk about. Each of you had, you weren't interrupting each other. You knew your parts, so you've rehearsed this enough to where it really flowed really nice. Jacob, one thing is when you started, you had your hands in your pocket like that, and then you had good posture, and you used your hands. You kind of stood in front of the audience. So maybe just remember not to put your hands in your pockets. Always have them out. You can use your hands when you're explaining things. As far as the PowerPoint, you had a lot of information on there that we as an audience couldn't even read. You guys knew the stuff, so you didn't even have to read it. So if you can maybe make your slideshow more effective where it's like big bullet points, so the audience can actually look up there like parameters and maybe condense it or summarize it to where you have bullet points. Because we can't really read it anyway. It's too busy. It's too much writing. And you guys don't need it because you guys knew it up here. You were looking at the audience, making good eye contact, and explaining everything about your ideas and solutions. So maybe you can fix that, or it's not really worth anything. If we can't see it, there's too much writing, and you don't really want to be reading a slide to the audience anyway. So see if you can bullet point stuff, and the audience will kind of follow along, and it'll have some effect, you know. But yeah, you guys did real good. I like the ideas. Are awesome. I mean, to save energy, you know how much money you can save people by doing smart things like that and coming up with those inventions. So, good job.